Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Dawn, and this is going to be an amazing episode. I know. So, Dawn, before we get into the nitty gritty, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I am a mom of one, and you'll probably learn a little bit more about that mom of one as we continue with the episode a little bit. So I'll leave it there for now. I'm an animal lover, so I have 3 dogs and 2 horses and 3 bunnies. So we're really into the furry animals and just love them up. And
Awesome.
I'm a big tennis player, and I love just helping people. So my background is counseling and coaching, life coaching, and I'm also an author. And those kind of the author and the life coaching have intertwined together in an area for me to help women who are struggling to get pregnant and really, really want to become moms, but it's not happening for them.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, I gotta say, I'm also an animal lover. I grew up on a farm. I had horses, cows, dogs, cats, you name it. And I currently have 2 cats. So I,
So we have a lot in common
yeah,
there.
yeah, definitely. And I love that you help moms, get pregnant. It's amazing. And when you work with them, is it like coaching or like what kind of support do you give?
So really what I do, my first effort in helping women to find more success with, conceiving a child was that I wrote a book for them.
Okay.
So, and I can talk a little bit about the book. And then as far as
Yeah.
the coaching part goes, it's really a deeper level of support for some women. The book is enough for them, and they really learn a lot of strategies within the book. And then my coaching that I do with them is really to kind of go at a deeper level to the strategies that are offered in the book, because a lot of times our brains are so used to thinking the patterns that have been in place for so long, and we don't see how they get in the way for us sometimes. And sometimes just having a coach kind of hold that mirror up to you and help you to see things that you weren't able to see in yourself so that you
Yeah.
can make those changes that can make those shifts happen and change your life for the better.
And
So
that
that's
helps
really
a lot.
a second level. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And what is the book called?
So the book is called Free to Conceive. I don't know if it'll show up if I hold it,
Yep.
like if it's
There you
backwards or
go.
what. But
No, you're good.
yeah, the book is called Free to Conceive, and interestingly enough, my journey to motherhood was a very long, very arduous, and very painful, as so many, women's are on their road to become mothers. I, I, suffered with infertility for over 6 years, and it was the most painful time of my life. And I was doing everything I could during that time to the problem, because that's kind
Yep.
of what I do. And I think that probably a lot of women who struggle to get pregnant are kind of a similar personality, in that they are determined go-getters and, also maybe people pleasers and perfectionistic tendencies and that kind of thing too. So I did everything I could in my power to check everything off the list. Was I doing this right? Did I try this? And everything that I tried did not work. And um, I it was such a hard time for me that, in the end, I never was able to conceive, and
All right.
my journey to motherhood went in the form of adoption, which can happen for many moms, and you have a dream in your mind, you have a conception in your mind of how you think your life is going to go, right? And how you think motherhood's going to come about for you, and it goes a different way than you expect. And it's all there for a reason. And one of the reasons I think that mine led me this way is so that I could use all of my counseling knowledge, my life experience, and this whole fertility journey to kind of come up with a book for women that has within it what I wish I would have known when I was trying to conceive. That the knowledge that I put in this book has really come about because I couldn't conceive.
Mhm.
You know, had I conceived through infertility treatments, which I tried, you know, like the reproductive science treatments, none of
Yeah.
those worked for me. Had I conceived through that, I don't think I would have had the knowledge that I have put in the book for everyone else to kind of move them ahead more quickly than I had during my time. So it's really
Yep.
the book that I wish was out there, and wasn't there for me. So it's a very supportive book. It's a book where women are going to feel seen and heard because so many people who have not experienced infertility or struggle to become moms because it happens very fast for them, or they just don't have fertility issues. They don't understand the pain of it and how they can sometimes make it worse for us when we're on this journey. So it's a supportive, compassionate book filled with lots of tools, um, to basically help them create the conditions that are necessary for conception to occur. Because so many people, even the medical field included, really only look at the physical aspects. When a woman cannot conceive,
Mhm.
yes, they'll look at the male, yes, they'll look at the female, but they're generally looking at the physical components that may be interfering with conception. Whereas I'm also really feeding into what's going on in the mind, what's going on in us spiritually, in our soul, that when all of those are in alignment, we've now set up the conditions that are successful for you to conceive. Because the mind can do, when it's under stress, it
Yeah.
really impacts the reproductive system. And if we're not
Yeah.
learning how much it's impacting and how to address the way that we've been thinking and showing up in our lives for years,
Mhm.
which may have contributed in some format to the fertility being there for us in the first place, we really can't fix the problem, because if it was just physical, then all infertility treatments would work, and they don't all work.
Exactly.
It's very high failure rate. So
Yeah. I mean, our mind can control everything in our life. It's crazy because, like, if you whether or not you believe it can happen or you don't believe it can happen, you are right. So
exactly.
you gotta focus on what you want to happen, not what might happen in a negative way. Focus on the positive. And so much of my life I was always focused on the negative. And hey, I still find myself going down that hole, and I'm like, nope, 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 we're not doing that again. And your whole life improves the more positive you can be, the more you can look at the good things in bad situations. And speaking of that, I like your story because you went through something really difficult.
Mhm,
And number one, you took the knowledge that you gained and you decided to help other people out. So that's amazing. And another thing you said is if it would have worked for you, the fertility treatments that you were getting,
mhm,
you wouldn't have got all the knowledge that you did because you wouldn't have
mhm.
had to keep going. And I
Exactly.
like that because you're looking at the positive and that situation where you weren't able to have a child, but now you can take that knowledge and go out and help so many other mothers have a child of their own. So that's incredible.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that, because yeah, I mean, if I would have conceived, and it would have been a whole different, whole different result, and I wouldn't
Yep.
have been able to kind of backtrack. It's kind of like, when they always say hindsight is 2020, that's what I feel this book is for everyone else that's struggling now. Because had I known then what I do now, I think I may have conceived. But I didn't have you know, that knowledge and that wisdom at that point. I mean, I thought that I did. I mean, I was a master's level psychologist at that point, but it's all of the learning that I have done in self-growth, and as after I even became a mom, because I mean, my daughter at this point is 14 years old, and I
Wow.
didn't write this book till 2, 3 years ago. So I was already a mother for a good 10, 11, 12 years before I was able to really write this book. And I think that the timing is is really just spot on because all of that knowledge, even in the parenting realm, has allowed me to put things in the book that is really going to be helpful
Yeah.
for for these women.
That's amazing. And speaking of your book, what are some of the strategies that you have in the book that
Yeah.
can help people?
Yeah. So I have this exclusive approach that that I created that's really kind of like a mnemonic device that, helps people to remember how all of these tools can help them. So for instance, I have something called the superstar system. So there's 5 points to the star, and each point of the star starts with a letter S. The word starts with a letter S. So for instance, one of the stars is surrender. One of the stars is story. One of the stars is state, and one of the stars is strategy. So it's like all of the star points are in there to answer the question, what is getting in the way of what I want? So interestingly enough, whether it's infertility or if it's, trying to find your soulmate, or if it's, trying to get the job that you want in your life, and things aren't happening the way you'd like them to happen, you can use this star setup to determine how is my story. When I say story, what I'm referring to is the narrative that you have playing in your mind. So we have belief systems, we have thoughts, we have over 60,000 thoughts a day, and probably about 80% of those thoughts are repetitive. So we're so kind of like just unconsciously saying things to ourselves. Many of us do not pay attention to the thoughts that we have throughout the day. And I challenge anybody to do a little experiment and kind of really pay attention to that for a day. And even for a 10-minute period, you would be amazed at the thoughts that you're having. How many of them are negative, just like you were saying, Nick? How many of them are at what you don't have versus what you do have? What you wish was different than it is, what you don't have control over, what you do versus what you do have control over. All of those differences make a complete difference in how you experience your life. And that's just one component of the star. That's just S for story. And in my opinion, when it comes to infertility, your thought process is so critical on what your belief systems are regarding your infertility. For instance, for me personally, I believed that I was deserving of a child, meaning like I would be a good mom. Like I should be able to have a baby because I'm a good mom. I would be a good mom. But I think there was an underlying belief that was yet to be uncovered that I didn't feel I was worthy of being a mom because my self-esteem was at a place that was overriding all of my other thoughts, but nobody really was working with me on that. Had I shifted those thoughts, that would have helped things be more in alignment. For instance, you know, you had mentioned before, when you have negative thoughts and you're looking at how you want things to be, but they're not where you want them to be, it creates stress in your body. So our
Yeah.
thoughts are connected with our emotions so strongly. Like each thought creates an emotion.
Mhm.
So if your thoughts are a lot of the time, which mine were, I have to conceive, I have to be a mom, I have to get pregnant, which led me to like obsessive behaviors like scrolling the internet for anything I was missing. Is there some kind of lotion, potion, trick, myth I can uncover to help me be better able to conceive? What haven't I tried yet? My energy was a very desperate energy.
Mhm.
Um, it wasn't anything that would be in alignment with conceiving. The environment for your body to conceive needs to be one of more of a peaceful state, more of an allowing state, not a desperate energy state. And when your body is in that stressful state, uh, one of the things that shuts down is your reproductive system. So when our body goes into a flight or fight experience, just like, in the caveman days when we were trying to like protect ourselves from a saber-toothed tiger,
Yep.
what all of your energy goes into your muscles so that you can flee and escape and fight and all of that stuff. But your cognitive ability gets shut down, all of the systems that your body doesn't need in that exact moment. You don't need to digest food in that moment. So your digestion isn't at its prime. You don't need to reproduce in that moment. So reproductive systems are not in alignment at that point. You don't need to have your best cognitive abilities. You just need to be able to react, be strong, and flee and fight. That's it. So
Yeah.
my point in saying that is if your body is in a chronic state of stress, then how well is that reproductive system really working?
Mhm.
Okay. So yes, we can go and we can figure out, are my fallopian tubes blocked? And that might be the answer. Maybe you
Mhm.
unblock your fallopian tubes and now conception can happen. But what about for all of those people that every physical thing has become uncovered and treated and they're still not able to conceive? Perhaps it could be one of these things on the 5 point star. So it could be your emotional state, which is another one of the S points. So it's it's your ability to surrender, your ability to you know, have a mindset that's in alignment with what you want to achieve and your dream that you want to have happen, and it's your emotional state, and it's your strategy. What am I going to do now that I know that these things are getting in the way? And that's what's in the book, Nick. So it helps. It's a very personalized book because there are a lot of reflective questions after each point of the star has gone into detail very closely and how it relates to them with being able to conceive,
Mhm.
and then they're able to answer the questions as it relates to them personally and get closer to what they really want, which is being a mom. And it may look different in the end, kind of like it did for me. I had to decide at one point, Nick, if I was going to just have the mindset continually like I have to be a mom and it has to be my own biological child. Or is it more important for me to become a mom even if it's not in the way that I had originally envisioned, because
Mhm.
being a mom is that important to me. And once I came to that mindset, which is also part of the story,
Yeah.
you know, I was able to go on a path that went towards adoption. And what's interesting about that path, Nick, is all the points of the star that I teach in the book, me not knowing it at the point, because as I said, I didn't write the book back then, all of those points were in alignment and my journey towards adoption went smoothly, peacefully, without a lot of stress. I mean, and that's how the conception journey can be for women if they're working on all points of the star as well.
That's incredible. I love that you have that 5 point star. Like you said, like once all 5 points align,
Hmm.
everything goes smoothly.
Yes. Yes.
Just like you said, you can use the star for anything in life, and that's what I really like about it too. It, people that pick up your book and reread it and learn the 5 points and how it all works,
Uh-huh.
that's a tool that they can use for the rest of their life.
Yes,
So,
you're exactly right. And it's interesting because I've had people read the book that weren't struggling with infertility, but just wanted to read what I wrote, and they were like, "Oh
hmm
my goodness, I'm getting so many things I can use in my life, and it's
yeah,
not regarding infertility." So,
hmm
yeah, it's a book anybody can really benefit from in their lives.
yeah, that's awesome. And we gotta wrap this up soon, but I want to know where the audience can find you, like website, your social medias, all that.
Yes, yes. So I have a website and it's called Your Fertility Angel. So it'd be www.yourfertilityangel.com. And there's just a lot of things that I think when women go on there, they're going to see if this is really a fit for them, if the book's a fit for them, if working with me, if they feel the need to do that is a fit for them, and just knowing they're in the right place, that just by what they're going to be reading and seeing there. So there's that. They can sign up for a free consultation to just kind of talk with me and see if we're a fit to work together, if there's a need to work together, or, just kind of bounce their situation off me and just kind of, get my impressions in a free consultation. They can order the book through there. The book is on Amazon. And probably in local bookstores like Barnes and Nobles, it can be ordered. I don't know that it's actually on the shelves, but it can be ordered through them. But Amazon's pretty easy for most people anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, I
And
get,
Facebook
like,
as well. Facebook, it's your fertility angel on Facebook as well.
okay, awesome, thank you. Yeah, I order most of my books on Amazon.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I order most of everything I get on Amazon. It's just so easy. So, and then I gotta ask you the same question I ask everyone. So my slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you?
Oh, wow. So when I think of infinite, meaning there's no limits, it's limitless. And for me, I am someone who continually wants to evolve and grow. So when I think about your abilities being infinite, it's as though, we have not discovered yet what we are really truly capable of. I think our capacity to use all the abilities that we were given as gifts are yet to be discovered. And sometimes we just all get in slumps and kind of a little bit fearful. I think some of us get fearful to challenge ourselves and see what we're truly capable of. There's fear there of, failing and just maybe sometimes even our own success. We're just, we don't really tap into that. But when I think of it for myself, my abilities are infinite. I there's no limit to it and there's no cap to it. And as you grow and have different life experiences, you're going to discover more things about yourself and things you didn't know that you had the capacity to do. And that's exciting.
It is. It is. And, throughout this episode, I keep having the same sentence pop up in my head. It's something that my mentor says frequently. And it is, you don't know what you don't know. And I thought about that a lot with your story. You said, you just didn't know the things that you had to know. And I think that's really important to remember is you don't know what you don't know. So keep learning, keep growing, and you never know where you're going to end up.
That's right. That's right. I love that. And I've also heard a quote similar to that where they're like, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's for sure, too.
Right?
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Forever learning, the learning of a lifetime, right?
Yep.
Lifetime
Yeah.
learning.
Every day, my goal for that day is to be 1% better than I was the day before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, Don, this was really great. Thank you so much for being on here, and thank you for what you do.
Well,
This is so important.
my pleasure. And it's been such an enjoyable time being with you, Nick.
Good. Thank you.
Hmm.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.